Hello, fellow Movie Crusaders, and welcome to another episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name's Sean Wasserkrug, and today we're going to be reviewing Birds of Prey and the I can never say this title. The Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. I swear, one of these days I'm going to say this title correctly. It's not this day. But yes, that's what we're going to be reviewing today. It's been a few weeks off for me over here at Sean's Movie Crusades, mainly because January we didn't have anything good coming out, so I wasn't going to waste my time going to the theaters. We had a lot of bad horror movies come out and Dolittle. Really, the only movie worth talking about was Bad Boys for Life, and it's still running through the box office as we speak. But I feel like this is the film that is going to knock Bad Boys for Life out of the top spot come this weekend. Everyone always comes out for the DC films, and one thing that this movie's going to have that the other ones didn't outside of Suicide Squad is Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. Suicide Squad was an epic failure in its mindset. I mean, mainly because of the utter disappointment of Jared Leto's Joker, but also because the story wasn't good and the cast just was kind of thrown together. But two great things that came out of that film was one, Will Smith's Deadshot, which we're not going to get probably again, but Margot Robbie's version of Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie put on a standout performance as Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad, enough to the point that even though the DCEU or Worlds of DC has kind of reset itself in terms of how they're doing their films, the one thing that they decided to keep on to is the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn, and they decided, let's give her own movie, thus Birds of Prey. Now, I will admit, when I saw the trailers for this film, it didn't look that appeasing to me. It looked like a jumbled mess, and I was really worried that this film was going to fall flat on its face. But coming out of the screenings, the reviews were very, very positive, at least from the people that I follow. So I got my expectations up a little bit more going into this film. And so let's go ahead and jump into the review and see exactly where my thoughts were on Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Going into the plot of this, basically, this takes place obviously after the events of Suicide Squad, where Joker and Harley Quinn are no longer together. Joker basically kicks her to the curb, and spoiler, but not really, no Jared Leto Joker in this film. Thank God there is no douchebag-looking Joker in this movie. Anytime she references Joker for the most part, they show a cartoon-looking version of the Joker, which looks nothing like Jared Leto's Joker, which I thought was hilarious, by the way. He looks more like Mark Hamill's Joker from the Batman the Animated Series or Joker from the comic book. None of them look like Jared Leto's Joker, which is bonus points for that because no one liked the look of Jared Leto's Joker. But yes, so Harley gets kicked to the curb by Joker, and she now has to kind of basically find her own identity because everyone knows Harley as Joker's girlfriend, Joker's sidekick, Joker's side piece, whatever you want to call her. No one considers Harley Quinn her own self-made person. They just think of her as Joker's pet. So when she finally has enough of it and decides, I'm going to go out on my own and be my own person, she basically does something that gives the Joker a giant FU, but in turn tells the entire world that her and Joker are no longer together, thus meaning she's no longer safe because all these people in Gotham have wanted to hurt/kill Harley Quinn for all the bad things that she's done to them, but they weren't able to touch her because they were all terrified of the Joker. But now that they are broken up and she's not under the safety of the Joker anymore, it is now open season on Harley Quinn. So she has to deal with this situation where everyone is coming out of the woodwork trying to kill Harley Quinn. The main one coming out of that is Roman Solanas, aka the Black Mask, played by Ewan McGregor, who, outside of the Joker, is basically the new godfather of Gotham. He's basically kind of taking over all the districts, or at least trying to in that sense. And his main primary goal, outside of trying to find this diamond that is worth enough money to basically fund him to be the new godfather of Gotham, is to kill Harley Quinn. Thus, Harley Quinn begs for her life, says, I'll help you find this diamond. And thus, at that point, we have the remaining plot going through as we get introduced to the rest of the birds of prey in the film that come and go based off of where they are at the plot. But this is Harley Quinn's movie. And that is basically the plot of Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. I swear to God, I think I just got it right. I did. Yeah. I'm so happy that I finally said it. Or you can just call it Birds of Prey. What works for Birds of Prey is a lot of it. A lot of it works. It is incredibly fun. It is, a lot of people are calling it DC's version of Deadpool, and I kind of want to agree, but I also think that's kind of doing this movie as a disservice because it's trying to find its own identity, and calling it DC's version of Deadpool is really kind of putting it in its own little box. And I'm not a big fan of that because Harley Quinn, yes, she does Deadpool-esque type stuff, but she's not at the same level of Deadpool. So I don't like that, and I know I said that in the short review if you guys watched it, but it's not something that I particularly like calling it because I like to say that Harley Quinn and the rest of the Birds of Prey in this film are basically kind of doing their own thing. And I don't think that Deadpool is a correct example of what this movie is, because those are just two separate different films in general. But a lot like Deadpool, it is R-rated. There is a lot of language. There is a lot of gore in terms of the fighting with broken bones and blood and stuff like that. It's actually not as bloody as Deadpool, but it definitely really hits that R rating. So on top of that, the story is actually, I'll hold off on telling you about the story, but the best thing about this is the cast. The cast in this film are having a blast. They're having so much fun, obviously led by Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie clearly loves playing Harley Quinn. You can just see it in her face how much fun she is having playing this character. She just gets to kind of go out and do whatever the heck she wants. And she's got free reign on this character. I mean, she produced this film. It was directed by not first time director, but first time to a lot of people, Kathy Yan. And I think Kathy Yan did actually a really good job directing this film. But Margot Robbie is a producer on this, so kind of Kathy and Margot Robbie's kind of baby putting this thing together. Like I said, Margot Robbie does a fantastic job as Harley Quinn, trying to find her, like I said, her identity, her place in the world without the Joker. And while there are a lot of stumbles and bumps along the way, I really enjoyed the journey we went on with Harley. She is the narrator throughout the film, so the story is very jumbled and out of place as we're going on because Harley is a very, crazy kind of person. So there are times where she will be going through the story and she'll pause it, rewind, tell you about another 10 minutes of story, and then catch you back up to where you were just left off. So knowing that ahead of time definitely will help you guys kind of watch this film a little bit more. That the story, at least for the first half, is really out of place. Characters drop in and out at weird times because it's Harley Quinn narrating the story. So she's not telling it in a straight line. She's basically telling it like she's telling you a story, but then she forgets something, and then she brings in this whole other story, and it eventually wraps her back around to the main story. So be on the lookout for that. If you like that sort of thing, great. If you don't like that, that might be a negative for you, but that is how the story is kind of told. Ewan McGregor as Roman Sionis, or aka Black Mask. I love this character. I love Ewan McGregor's performance as Roman, aka Black Mask. I was so excited to see Ewan McGregor basically just chew the scenery. And if you like villains that really just kind of go over the top with their character, then you're going to love Ewan McGregor's performance as Black Mask. He's very flamboyant. He likes to be very colorful with his clothes. He's kind of almost like Will Smith in a way. He likes to just dance and go woo and all this kind of stuff. And then when things don't go his way, he throws temper tantrums and can get real dangerous real fast. And most of the time, Ewan McGregor tries to play it kind of lightly and fun. But when stuff goes wrong for the Black Mask character, things go dark really, really fast. And I think Ewan McGregor does a fantastic job of kind of towing that line with that character. And he was a joy to watch through this movie. The rest of the Birds of Prey, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she plays Huntress. She's not in the movie as much as I would have liked. I wish we could have gotten a whole lot more for her character because I thought she was awesome in this film overall. Whenever she was on screen, I was having so much fun because she plays it very deadpan, very dry, especially up to the likes of a Harley Quinn. And I just wanted more of her on screen. I've always been a big fan of Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and having her in the DCEU or the world of DC now definitely gives us more opportunities to see these her on screen with Birds of Prey or any other DC characters down the road. And I really enjoyed her character. I just wish we would have gotten more of her. To me, a huge standout in this film that I was not expecting goes to Journey Smollett Bell. She plays Dinah Lance, aka Black Canary. Was not expecting to like her character as much as I did. To me, outside of like the mainstays, I mean Margot Robbie, Ewan McGregor, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she was definitely my favorite performance of the film. She was the one character that basically was kind of playing the most grounded. Because yes, she's Black Canary, but she's not playing a superhero kind of character. She's basically playing a woman who's just trying to get by. She's got a troubled past, like a troubled childhood, and she just kind of gets thrown into this, and she's just kind of trying to just survive. And I think Journey did a fantastic job playing Black Canary, and I cannot wait to see more from this Birds of Prey crew. Adding the last part of Birds of Prey, we have Rosie Perez, who plays Renee Montoya. She plays a Gotham cop or Gotham detective, I'm sorry, who basically keeps getting screwed over. Rosie Perez is playing it very much like an 80s action buddy cop film. The rugged cop, kind of like how like the Danny Glover type of character that you would see in like a Lethal Weapon, something like that. But when she's on her own and we're just on Renee Montoya's story, I feel like the movie kind of drags. I was not a big fan of the cop's character storyline because it played a little too heavily on she's a female, so she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about, or she's a female, she's not good at her job. And they kind of just beat that over at a dead horse. But when she is with any of the rest of the Birds of Prey crew, Rosie Perez really kind of, comes into her own as a character, and she's a lot more enjoyable. But when it's just her character on her own or her side of the story, it just doesn't work for me. And I feel like it kind of hinders the film whenever it does go to Rosie Perez's character's storyline. We also got Ella J. Basco. She plays Cassandra Cain. She is the MacGuffin of the film because she is the girl with the diamond. Thus, her and Harley have a relationship throughout the film. I think Ella J. Basco plays really well with Margot Robbie with their two characters. Cassandra Cain and Margot Robbie together are a very fun combo, kind of like an apprentice-apprentice kind of thing. And it's a fun time. She doesn't overtake the character. It's kind of like I said, I hate to mention Deadpool, but it's kind of like Deadpool 2 with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool and I'm blanking on his name, but the kid in Deadpool 2. It's kind of like that kind of a relationship between Harley Quinn and Cassandra Cain. She does a solid job. I mean, she doesn't do anything to kind of make you go wow in the performance, but she is able to keep up with the rest of the cast. But she basically is playing the MacGuffin of the film, so she can only do so much in terms of the movie. Last cast member that I really will bring up, you have Chris Messina, Victor Zsasz. So anyone who's been a Batman fan and loves those villains, we finally get a movie with Victor Zsasz in, and Chris Messina, I think, does a great job basically playing kind of a kiss-ass to Roman. And then when he's not around Roman, you get that Victor Zsasz kind of creepy serial killer, almost kind of rapey vibe from him. But I think he does a great job playing Victor Zsasz. And would he work in a Batman film? Probably not. Not the way the character is portrayed in this film. But in a film like this, Victor Zsasz fits in perfectly, just as Roman's Black Mask. I don't think he would fit in well in a Batman film, but in this kind of film with Harley Quinn, I think Black Mask fits beautifully. So like I said, the cast is all having a great time. They're all having, they're super fun to watch. They're enjoyable. The dialogue's very funny. There's some great jokes. There's a lot of funny little Easter eggs spread out throughout this entire film if you just pay attention to it. Visually, it looks great. It's very colorful. They do great shot designs in certain action sequences that are really a wonder to the eye. It's going to look fantastic in 4K when it comes out. Visually just stunning. The other big thing that makes this movie as great as it is the action choreography is fantastic in this film. I know I keep saying fantastic, but it is a fantabulous movie if you go by the title. The action sequences or the stunt work that they go in this film are John Wick level. Kind of not in terms of the shooting, but in terms of like the hand-to-hand combat. Harley Quinn does some fantastic and unique battling in this film with weapons or just straight up with her hands and feet. Huntress, Black Canary, all of them have great, fun, unique fighting styles, and each action set piece is in a unique, fun setting that definitely adds an element of just pure enjoyment in this film overall, whether it's in a police station or whether it's at a fairgrounds or whether it's on the streets. The action set pieces are a joy to watch, and you can just sit back and just relax and just have a ball watching this film overall. The only things that really didn't work for me in terms of this film is that it does get a little slow in the middle of the film because they try to get a little more serious with it in a sense for Harley Quinn's character. So it does kind of slow down for a little bit, but not too long to the point where you're going, okay, wrap it up. But when you're going at a brisk, fast pace throughout the first half of the film, you get about a good 10, 15 minutes where it does kind of slow down before it inevitably goes super quick with the awesome third act. So for people, in terms of the flow and the pace of the film, it does kind of slow down a little bit in the middle. And like I said, I wasn't a fan of Rosie Perez's storyline. I wasn't a fan of how they portrayed that storyline, but when she was with the rest of the Birds of Prey cast, it worked very well. But when it was just Renee Montoya's storyline, I just was not a big fan of it. Obviously, also buco points for not putting in Jared Leto's Joker. But yeah, going into overall thoughts, I really enjoyed this film. It was better than I expected it to be, especially because I was not a fan of the trailers. I would say it is probably one of the best, if not the best, DCEU film to be put out so far. Yes, I'm including Wonder Woman in that ranking. You can tell what this film is right off the bat. You can tell how fun it is. You can tell how quippy it is. It's got the perfect sense of Harley Quinn's approach to the film, and it adds a little bit of Suicide Squad in there, but it doesn't disappoint you like Suicide Squad does. So if you're a fan of any of these actors or actresses, or a DC fan, or a fan of Harley Quinn in general, I cannot strongly encourage you guys to check out this movie enough. This is definitely going to be the movie that's going to knock Bad Boys for Life out of the top spot this coming weekend, because the rewatchability of this film is incredibly high. Because it is a comic book movie, I know a lot of people are going to ask, are there after credits in this film? No, there is not, but there is an audio, a little like a voiceover audio thing at the very end credits. Is it worth staying through 5-6 minutes of credits? No. Is it funny? Yes, but it doesn't necessarily need to be sit and watch. You can wait until it comes out on digital or disc, and you can watch it when you get home. Definitely not something you need to stay and watch. It's not plot-based. It's not something that pushes you towards future films. It's just a Harley Quinn joke, basically, at the end. So if you guys want to watch that, great. If not, feel free to get up and leave as soon as the movie ends. But going to the review score for Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, I'm going to give it an 8.3 out of 10. Like I said, it is a very, very enjoyable film with a few bumps in the road that just take it away from being a utter fantastic film to a really great, enjoyable film. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys feel like this review is worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on Sean's Movie Crusades. And of course, don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Coming up next, we've got next week, we got Valentine's Day, and really the only two movies I think that are coming out. We got Sonic the Hedgehog, which ever since they updated Sonic, I'm actually really excited to see this film because I really want to see Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. And then we got Fantasy Island. Definitely you're going to be seeing Sonic the Hedgehog. Fantasy Island, I may or may not get to see this upcoming weekend, but be on the lookout for those reviews, especially the Sonic one. And yeah, till next time, in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.